Hey, sports card fans, it's John, Wade Boggs fan. Hope you're all doing well. Featuring a move to color, 1941 Play Ball continues the brief but strong vintage releases from Gum Inc. In addition to valuable cards for Ted Williams and Joe DiMaggio, 1941 Play Ball is home to the only official Wee Reese rookie card. 1941 Play Ball was the line's third and final installment before World War II, which halted the production of cards and severely curtailed gum production. When the war ended, Gum Inc. resurfaced as the Bowman Gum Company and began its card production anew. That makes it one of the few pre-war card makers to release cards after the war as well. With a total of 72 cards, 1941 Play Ball is the smallest of the three sets from Gum Inc. However, the overall aesthetic appeal is improved by having the cards printed in color. This makes it more widely collected than either the 1939 or 1940 sets. In essence, 1941 Play Ball cards are a colorized version of their 1940 counterparts. Another notable difference is that the ornate bottom banner with baseball gear has been replaced with a more subdued example containing the player's name and often a nickname. The 2.5 by 3 1/8 inch cards are officially recognized as R336. Simply incorporating color into the card's design wasn't the only thing that made the 1941 Play Ball set cards stand out. Backgrounds are vivid and sometimes multicolored with added shadows and perspective. The design appears to be a combination of the Art Deco design that made 1934 to 1936 Diamond Star stand out and the comic art of 1938 Gaudi so timeless. The 1941 Play Ball card backs are similar to the other Play Ball sets with a lengthy biography. A caption at the bottom seems to indicate the cards may have been intended as part of a larger Sports Hall of Fame set, but no other cards ever surfaced. Any cards that are missing that caption simply contain an ad for Blony Gum. There are some 1941 Play Ball cards that are printed on paper rather than cardboard. It has been speculated that these cards were part of a promotion. 1941 Play Ball features a number of stars and Hall of Fame players, with the big three being Joe DiMaggio, Ted Williams, and Hank Greenberg. Other players of note include Bill Dicky, Lefty Gomez, Carl Hubble, Chuck Klein, and Mel Ott. The set also features the rookie year card of Wee Reese. In addition, the second series cards, numbers 49 to 72, are only slightly more difficult to locate than those of the first series. Another difference between the two series is that while Series 1 is found with and without the 1941 copyright date, the second series does not include any date. Of the three Play Ball sets, this is perhaps the easiest to complete because of its small number of total cards. One interesting fact about the 1941 Play Ball set is that it is the only major baseball card issue to feature all three of the DiMaggio brothers, Joe, Dom, and Vince. While Joe is clearly the most famous of the DiMaggios, all three brothers played in the majors during 1941. In this video, I'm going to show the top 10 most valuable cards from the 1941 Play Ball set based on their PSA 4 values. I'll also give the values of those cards in higher grades, as well as the population count of those grades. Now, as a side note, because some cards have very low population counts, the values in some grades might not reflect current prices, since it may be a year or two or even more since a copy in that grade has been sold. Now, before I get to the top 10, here are the cards that just missed the top 10. At number 15, the Joe Cronin card. At number 14, the Johnny Vandermeer card. At number 13, the Red Ruffing card. At number 12, the Dom DiMaggio card. And at number 11, the Archie Vaughn card. So, which cards made the top 10 list? Let's go find out. At number 10, we have the Bill Dicky card. In a PSA 4, there have been 117 graded copies with a current VCP average price of $162. There have been 69 graded A PSA 5. They sell for around $248. There have been 51 graded A PSA 6. They sell for around $300. There have been 56 graded A PSA 7. They sell for around $756. There have been 32 graded A PSA 8. They sell for around $1,680. There have been 4 graded A PSA 9. The only PSA 9 sale in VCP's database took place in May of 2020 through Heritage Auction and sold for $7,200, placing the Bill Dicky at the number 5 spot in terms of PSA 9 graded copies on this list. And just like all but one of the cards on this top 10 list, there have been no PSA 10 graded copies of the Bill Dicky card. At number 9, we have the Charlie Garinger card. In a PSA 4, there have been 107 graded copies with a current VCP average price of $180. There have been 105 graded A PSA 5. They sell for around $249. There have been 74 graded A PSA 6. They sell for around $432. There have been 54 graded A PSA 7. They sell for around $653. There have been 44 graded A PSA 8. They sell for around $1,607. And there have been 6 graded A PSA 9. The last PSA 9 sale took place in May of 2020 through Heritage Auction and sold for $3,930. At number 8, we have the Carl Hubble card. In a PSA 4, there have been 92 graded copies with a current VCP average price of $181. There have been 80 graded A PSA 5. They sell for around $195. There have been 65 graded A PSA 6. They sell for around $341. There have been 47 graded A PSA 7. They sell for around $547. There have been 32 graded A PSA 8. They sell for around $1,620. And there have been 5 graded A PSA 9. The last PSA 9 sale took place at that same Heritage Auction in May of 2020 for $2,640. Number 7, we have the Lefty Gomez card. In a PSA 4, there have been 81 graded copies with a current VCP average price of $252. There have been 60 graded A PSA 5. They sell for around $284. There have been 45 graded A PSA 6. They sell for around $432. There have been 31 graded A PSA 7. They sell for around $505. There have been 24 graded A PSA 8. The last PSA 8 sale took place in January of 2023 through Heritage and sold for $1,980. Now, there have been 2 graded A PSA 9, but no PSA 9 sales have been reported in VCP's database. At number 6, we have the Mel Ott card. In a PSA 4, there have been 115 graded copies with a current VCP average price of $390. There have been 71 graded A PSA 5. They sell for around $390. There have been 76 graded A PSA 6. They sell for around $512. There have been 58 graded A PSA 7. They sell for around $930. There have been 42 graded A PSA 8. They sell for around $1,626. And there have been 3 graded A PSA 9. The only PSA 9 sale in VCP's database took place in May of 2020 through Heritage Auction and sold for $3,960. At number 5, we have the Jimmy Fox card. In a PSA 4, there have been 126 graded copies with a current VCP average price of $462. There have been 117 graded A PSA 5. They sell for around $681. There have been 103 graded A PSA 6. They sell for around $765. There have been 68 graded A PSA 7. They sell for around $1,225. There have been 48 graded A PSA 8. They sell for around $2,410, placing the Jimmy Fox also at the number 5 spot in terms of PSA 8 graded copies on this list. And there have been 7 graded A PSA 9, but there's been only one sale reported in VCP's database, and that took place in May of 2020 through Heritage and sold for $8,700, placing the Jimmy Fox at the number 4 spot in terms of PSA 9 graded copies on this list. At number 4, we have the Hank Greenberg card. In a PSA 4, there have been 109 graded copies with a current VCP average price of $469. There have been 97 graded A PSA 5. They sell for around $582. There have been 83 graded A PSA 6. They sell for around $918. There have been 75 graded A PSA 7. They sell for around $1,329. There have been 44 graded A PSA 8. The last PSA 8 sale took place in January of 2023 through Heritage and sold for $3,960, placing the Hank Greenberg also at the number 4 spot in terms of PSA 8 graded copies on this list. Now, there have been 4 graded A PSA 9, but there has not been a reported PSA 9 sale in VCP's database. At number 3, we have the Wee Reese rookie card. In a PSA 4, there have been 142 graded copies with a current VCP average price of $688. There have been 114 graded A PSA 5. They sell for around $1,340. There have been 70 graded A PSA 6. They sell for around $1,737. There have been 45 graded A PSA 7. They sell for around $4,980. There have been 25 graded A PSA 8. They sell for around $15,600, placing the Wee Reese rookie card also at the number 3 spot in terms of PSA 8 graded copies on this list. And there have been 2 graded A PSA 9. The only PSA 9 sale in VCP's database took place at that same May 2020 auction through Heritage and sold for $72,000, placing the Wee Reese also at the number 3 spot for PSA 9 graded copies on this list. At number 2, we have the Ted Williams card. In a PSA 4, there have been 196 graded copies with a current VCP average price of $1,993. There have been 154 graded A PSA 5. They sell for around $2,530. There have been 89 graded A PSA 6. They sell for around $4,005. There have been 80 graded A PSA 7. They sell for around $6,977. There have been 53 graded A PSA 8. They sell for around $26,678, also placing the Ted Williams at the number 2 spot in terms of PSA 8 graded copies on this list. And there have been 9 graded A PSA 9. The last PSA 9 sale took place in September of 2022 through Heritage and sold for $192,000, placing the Ted Williams also at the number 2 spot for PSA 9 graded copies on this list. And the number 1 most valuable card from the 1941 play ball set, the Joe DiMaggio card. In a PSA 4, there have been 151 graded copies with a current VCP average price of $3,625. There have been 118 graded A PSA 5. They sell for around $7,672. There have been 61 graded A PSA 6. They sell for around $7,380. There have been 36 graded A PSA 7. They sell for around $18,830. There have been 31 graded A PSA 8. They sell for around $85,500, also placing the Joe DiMaggio at the number 1 spot for PSA 8 graded copies on this list. There have been 5 graded A PSA 9. They sell for around $216,000, again placing the Joe DiMaggio at the number 1 spot for PSA 9 graded copies on this list. And of all the cards on this top 10 list, the Joe DiMaggio card is the only one that has a PSA 10 graded copy, and the only PSA 10 sale in VCP's database took place in February of 2020 through Heritage and sold for $750,000. Well, there you go, the top 10 most valuable cards from the 1941 play ball set. As always, would love to know in the comments what you think about the 1941 play ball set and the cards that made the top 10 list. And be sure to stay tuned for next week's episode, in which I take a look at the 1933 Gaudi set. And if you've missed either of the last 2 videos in this series, you can check them out right here. With that, that's all I have for you. So until next time, thanks for watching.